All right, Blindin, we're ready for you.
Okay, fantastic. Good afternoon. Let me begin by sharing with you Lucas' story. Lucas is from Brazil. He earned a bachelor's degree in computer science from a renowned university. He went to Germany for an exchange program. He's a public speaker and a blogger. He's also a chess player who competes internationally. And he's a software engineer at Google in the US. Pretty impressive, isn't it? I'm sure you will be more amazed after I tell you that Lucas became blind when he was 4 years old. Lucas exposed himself to the world and showcased his capabilities, confirming that disability need not be an obstacle to success. Inspired by this powerful quote from Stephen Hawking, my team is focusing on the visually challenged community. There are 42 million blind people in the world, a number that is expected to grow 3 times in the next 30 years. However, unlike Lucas, over 70% of this population is unemployed. In order to challenge the status quo, our team has come up with a solution. Introducing to you blindin.co, an accessible platform to bridge the gap between blind job seekers and employers that eases the job search journey of the blind community with simple steps. Our aim is to normalize hiring blind employees, use artificial intelligence to make it simpler, and give hope not only to millions of blind, but their families and relatives as well. We are also thrilled to share with you that we have participated with Blindin in Microsoft APAC AI for Accessibility Hackathon, and we are the winner team from Malaysia. Let us present to you blindin.co, the enhanced LinkedIn for the blind community.
Before we explore the platform, let's take a step back and look at the current challenges faced by 2 major players to this problem statement. Based on primary research and conducting surveys across companies in Malaysia, we identified 2 key aspects. The visually challenged, on one hand, find a lack of opportunities to showcase what they're capable of. And on the other hand, there is a lack of awareness from the companies and employers about the blind people's capabilities. Now let's talk about our customer segment.
So Blindin targets 2 different customer segments. First, the job seekers are the blind and visually impaired. We studied the market here in Malaysia, and we realized that we have 960,000 blind and visually impaired in the country. From this number, we know that 261,000 can be users of our platform straight away. We also know that this market can grow 1,000 users per year that are the graduates that are left out of the labor force because of their disability. In the other side, we have the companies that are also going to join the platform. Here in Malaysia, we have 932 companies that are listed in the Bursa Malaysia. And why this is important? When you are listed, you need to meet some CSR requirements, and this can be a great entry door for partnerships with Blindin. We also know that 1% of jobs in GLCs are legally dedicated to disabled. That's also a great opportunity to our job seekers. So now let Amijad guide you through inside blindin.co.
Welcome guys to the platform. So in our platform, blind and visually impaired job seekers can easily create profiles and upload video resume of themselves. In this resume, they can address the problem of lack of awareness among employers and answer the questions that employers usually don't dare to ask. After that, they can browse through jobs, and when they find a job of interest for them, they can apply with a click of a button. Let's have a look at how it works.
Louisa, there is no sound. Could you please share the sound?
Sorry.
Okay, so we will be giving an overview of how the platform works, giving you the blind job seeker view as well as the company.
Tools can easily navigate the platform in 3 simple. Welcome to Blindin, an accessible platform for 2 customer segments. Firstly, the blind job seekers using assistive technology tools can easily navigate the platform in 3 simple steps. First, By referring to guided tutorials, the candidate can create a profile and upload their video resume. Second, they can browse jobs. Third, by a simple click of a button, they can now apply to the job of their interest. Our second customer segment is the employers. Employers can post any open positions along with a job description. They can also browse candidates and view their video resumes. For example, the employer finds Paul's profile and are very curious to see how he functions.
So I use a range of technologies from screen readers, i.e. text to speech, to braille displays, which is this thing that I've got in front of me here, voice technology, and a whole range of recognition apps that just kind of aid me in my day-to-day life, both in and out of the workplace. Okay.
In this way, if they identify a candidate perfect for the job based on their qualifications, they can now connect directly with the candidate by a simple click. Let's go back to our presentation to see how the implementation of AI and machine learning will further enhance our platform.
So as you have seen, our purpose is to make the job searching for blind and visually impaired job seekers as simple as possible. We are going a further step to make it simpler by implementing the machine learning. We're using the speech-to-text service to capture the keywords from the job, from the video resume of the job seekers. And on the other side, we're using the tech analytics to go through the job postings and capture the key phrases in those jobs. And when there is a match between the two, the algorithm does the recommendation and prompt both sides of the possible synergy. Now let's look at how we're going to build and sustain this platform.
So our plan is to develop a unique purpose and profit business model while keeping the job support free and unlimited for all visually impaired users, starting in Malaysia and scaling globally. For our core business model, which is employment, we plan to be financially sustainable by diversifying our fund sources, targeting companies and getting funded using their ESG budgets, participating in competitions, using foundation grants, and onboarding angel and social impact investors, until we start employer subscriptions and commissions in 2 years' time. Also, our strategic vision is to be an enabler for this community and launch new features like consulting and freelancing services, a marketplace, and also providing assistive tools through subscriptions and commissions. Let's go through our project's impact now.
Along with a lot of positive changes we aim to bring to the blind and visually impaired community, we also aim to create a larger social and economic impact. Currently, there is a governmental welfare amount that is given to the blind people who are unemployed. Through Blind In, we will be providing these individuals with a job opportunity and potentially increasing their monthly income by 7 times than what they currently receive from the government. This could also lead to a 200 million ringgit saved per year from the governmental welfare allocation that could potentially be used for other initiatives across the country. Companies that embrace diversity have seen a 2 times bigger ROE compared to the rest. So what's next for our project?
We have 5 next main steps for Blind In. First, we want to finalize the agreement with Microsoft. This will be done by next week. We also want to build one successful case of hiring a blind person before launching our platform. We are partnering with ASB to hire our first blind intern. And also we can see which are the pain points in the journey for both sides. We also want to build our accessible platform, both app and website. We want to record professional videos for more users. That's why we're partnering with Malaysian Association of Blindness. And last but not least, we are going to launch our platform in a social media campaign, I'm Blind and I Can Do, to start to create the awareness about this such an important topic.
So this is the extremely passionate team behind Blind In. You might be wondering why we care so much about this project. Well, we have started this presentation with Luca's story, and let me end by sharing mine. My name is Ilham, and I could have been one of these blind people who finds herself with an MBA and loss of eyesight because of a medical condition. I went through this process early this year, and I remember my fears of not being able to achieve my career aspirations. I realized that I don't want to be exposed to this, and I don't want the 42 million people in the world to continue suffering from employment exclusion. So let's all work together to make the change we want to see. Thank you, and opening it up to questions and feedback.
Brava, bravissimi. All right, judges.
Sorry, this is Alan Lim. Thank you for the presentation, most inspiring. I have a question with regards to the revenue. I know that you are looking to collaborate with corporates in Malaysia on this particular project. Can I know how your revenue model will be? Thank you.
Okay, I can take this question. So as we have explained, which is a great question to know how we will be financially sustainable, is that first, during the first 2 years, we want to rely on funding and sponsorship coming from our partners. And we definitely will target first MNCs and GLCs who have this mindset for change. So, and we need to do that for, as I said, a period of 2 years. And also what we try to do is to participate in competitions to get maximum funding as possible. And we are talking with social impact and angel investors. So because we want companies to change mindset, to take new actions that they were not used to do. So we cannot from day one tell them also you need to pay for the service. So the time for us to build that attraction and the thickness in the platform, we will be doing really just that. And then we will start a revenue model based on subscription and commission, also based on how our 2 years trial will work, and like just trying the business model and see how companies will interact with us.
Hi, I'm obviously super passionate about this topic because it's particularly to do with what I even do every day, which is creating jobs. And to me, it's so powerful because a more inclusive workforce builds a more inclusive society in so many ways. I've met someone in Microsoft who is blind, and he has created a way for blinds to put on those glasses to see, and it's so inspiring, right? And if we didn't have him in the workforce, we wouldn't have products like that. So you can only imagine the possibilities what this really creates. I think for me, I have so many questions, but I have a few. Firstly, it's like, can you explain what you mean with your partnership that you're signing with Microsoft next week? What does that bring? Are you talking about just the technology for you to use, for you to embed into your platform? And then the second one, though, is ultimately, how do you look at creating, is your main vision and your main objective getting as many people jobs? And if that is the case, how are you making sure that you're collecting the right data of what jobs are needed and what people skill sets are available in this market, and how are you matching that? So I'm very interested in how you plan to match the demand and supply specifically, ideally not manually.
Yeah, I can start addressing. So about the Microsoft partnership that you asked, we are going to partner with them to develop mainly the AI feature, because the hackathon was about AI and they want us to use Microsoft Azure in our solution. So we are sure that they're going to help us on developing this, as they are really expert on this matter. And about the second question, was the what?
How do you collect your skill sets that come from this data, from the supply, and match it to the demand itself? Because, for example, I assume there are going to be jobs that the companies are not well set up for a blind individual, unfortunately. For example, machinery that is on a line, and that unfortunately machinery and SOPs are not built for a blind person to handle. So how do you know what kind of jobs are available and the skill sets, and how do you make sure you're matching it as efficient as possible?
Yeah, so for this one, we are not a specialist in the topic. So what we are doing, we are talking with people that are specialists on this. So for example, we have been talking with Microlink, that's a company in UK that works close to HSBC and huge companies to do this assessment, map what kind of jobs are available in a company and what kind of skill sets are needed to perform this job. So we are going to have this information in the platform as well. And we are building this with them now. So we are talking with the CEO, Nasser, and he's really willing to help us in building this. So it will be kind of a partnership with them where we are going to provide the platform for the matchmaking, and he will give us the insights on which kind of jobs can be posted there.
So there's no immediate insights that you have today about matching or learnings you've done through the testing?
Do you want to jump on, Ranjini?
Francisca, are you referring to the AI matching, like actual examples?
No, anything to do with like any learnings that you've gotten by testing this out, just matching people. Like what is like your key insights of now understanding, wow, this is the reason why people can't hire, and we figure out a way they can hire blind people through this way. Yeah.
Yep. I think this goes back to our initial research that we did to understand where exactly the problem statement was. A lot of companies do have jobs, but I think one of the biggest challenges is to understand if blind people can actually perform these jobs. So to your second question, in terms of like the job searches as well, we're not trying to limit certain jobs to just blind people. I think we've heard and we've seen a lot of success stories where blind people have beaten the odds and done amazing things, like being chefs. Being the Microsoft example was a classic example of how he went into the market space and built something that was accessible for the blind people. So we want to make sure that the various different platforms out there is connected to our blind in, where any open position that's available kind of gets that attracted to the blind people. So if a blind person is very has the right skill set and is very enthusiastic to say, yes, I can do that, can they showcase the employers saying that there is no barrier in between and I am capable of doing the job? And that's how a lot more opportunities can be opened out to them.
Just to add that what we are also up against is the branding of blind people as like receptionists or masseurs. There's a kind of association about the jobs that they can do. And our job is to actually address that issue and say that there is a much bigger range of jobs that blind people actually excel at, and we need to bring that to the attention of employers here in Malaysia and globally.
Yeah, there is the stigma that blind people should be contact center and something in these lines, but we don't want to be limited to this. So as long as the company requirements and the blind person capabilities are matching, maybe it's just a matter of finding an accommodation that make this possible. Maybe a voiceover or a keyboard that in Braille. So we are there to address this lack of information. So we want to make the bridge and identify what is missing for this matchmaking happen. So it's basically this. So we don't want to be limited on what are already being done in the market. We want to go a step further and leave them do whatever they want and they are capable of.
All right, if we don't have any other questions, may I ask you please